What's going on guys, Ibadra here and welcome to another tutorial. This video guys, as you've seen from the thumbnail and the title, I'm going to be showing you how to make thumbnails like bitryan. Now I did do a CoryXKenshin thumbnail, so if you want to see that, click on the card above and I will come back to that in a second. Now of course this is going to be identical, a one for one for bitryan's thumbnails. That would be not good at all. You cannot rip off another YouTuber's thumbnails, but you are allowed to take inspiration and take techniques. So by the end of this video guys, you're going to know how to make thumbnails like this, and I'm going to be showing you step by step on how to get here. Now before we jump into this, there's two things. The first thing is bitryan thumbnails are very difficult, so I do suggest going on to my CoryXKenshin thumbnail tutorial because I explain it slower and in more detail. This one is for like people who know their way around Photoshop and stuff like that. And the second thing guys, there's going to be a pack in the description below. One of them is going to be free where I give you this PNG as a template, and the other one will be paid, but you can edit this file and the thumbnail we're going to make to create your own bitryan thumbnails. Now if you do find this video helpful, please leave a like on this video and subscribe. You can click on the cards above if you want to learn how to edit like bitryan and like CoryXKenshin. And if you want to take your YouTube videos to the next level, all the links are in the description. This file I have done completely by myself. This is the new secret of the Mimic game. This is not actually my thumbnail. I made this thumbnail earlier today and I'm going to show you how to do another one. Now if we take a look at the side, there are a lot of layers here, but don't worry, I'm going to walk you through this as easily as possible. So once we open our Photoshop, we're going to be taken to this sort of page. We're going to go to create new. We're going to make these our settings, so pause if you want to see, and then we're going to push create. Once that's created guys and we've recorded our video, we can now drag in the two files. The first one guys is going to be our reaction, so I'm going to go find a reaction and then drag it on here. Once we drag it on, we're going to see this big X. What we want to do guys before we click the tick is we want to resize. What this does guys is it holds the quality, so the quality stays good, and then we're just going to drag this to the side. Now the next thing we need guys is the background, the gameplay. bitryan's thumbnails are extremely detailed, so you might want to take two different images, maybe even three images. I'm going to use this for my thumbnail. I think this one's really good. I'm going to drag my face cam layer to the top. Next thing we're going to do guys is we're going to select this file, push the rubber onto it, and it's going to rasterize the layer. If this doesn't do that, then you can right click and rasterize it this way. Once the file is rasterized guys, we're going to go here, we're going to scroll down, we're going to go to quick action, and we're going to click on select subject. If that's not there for you guys, we're going to click on this tool over here and we can select the person ourselves. We only cut parts that we need, so I'm going to go to the minus and delete the parts I don't want, and then I'm going to go to the plus to add the parts that I do want. Once that's all done, we're going to push Ctrl C and then Ctrl V. We can delete our background. Background's gone. Here's our bitryan thumbnail that we're going to be using as a template. Bring myself to the top, and usually because of my face cam, I face this way, but to make things simpler, I'm going to do it in bitryan's way. So I'm going to flip myself with Ctrl T, and then we're going to right click and we're going to click on flip horizontally, and we just want to kind of base our faces. We're going to bring the opacity down just so we can see where the features are. Alright, once I'm happy with this, we're going to go and edit this picture here. My advice is start with the background. So I'm going to actually hide my face right now. With bitryan thumbnails, if we take a look at it and we full screen this, it is a very grainy. What this effect does is when you look at it from a distance, it makes the image look more sharp. We're going to want that effect. It is very simple to do. We're going to select our layer, we're going to come up to filter, and then we're gonna push camera raw filter. Again guys, if this is too fast paced, I do suggest going to watch the CoryXKenshin thumbnail. I did warn you guys. If you want to make thumbnails of this quality, you need to invest your time in the software. First of all, we're gonna have to brighten up this image. I'm gonna put exposure up, contrast. bitryan does have a lot of contrast, but for now, I'm gonna just put the contrast down. Don't worry guys. Highlights, we're gonna put highlights up. Just try and make the image look as bright as possible. Here's the important part guys, we're gonna put textures up, clarity up. Don't do it too much though. To start off with guys, we're not gonna put the grain too high. I'm gonna put my one around at 36. It really depends on the image. Okay, so right now we got this going on here. We're gonna hold Alt and drag the layer up. So now it's duplicated, and then we can make changes to this layer here. You know guys, I'm gonna actually duplicate it a third time just because I want to do something here. I'm gonna convert it to a rasterized layer, and then I'm actually gonna select subject, and I want to cut out Freddy. This is as good as it's gonna get for me. You want to probably choose a better image than I have. I'm gonna push Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Now I want to go to this layer underneath, and I want to go filter and then blur and then Gaussian blur over here. So now what this does guys is it will make Freddy stand out even more. If there's any changes, you can use the rubber tool to get certain parts. Like over here, I didn't get this part. Now with bitryan's thumbnails, the characters and main subject was always going to have to be sharp. Maybe a bit more exposure and a lot of contrast. We're going to put quite a bit of contrast here. Change vibrance if you want. I don't really want to change it that much for this image. It looks very clear. Freddy looks very clear in the image. If we look at Ibadра's thumbnail, there is a lot of deep color. Now he's put like some fire effect. We're gonna actually put some spark effects. He has used that in quite a bit of his thumbnails, so we're gonna be doing that as well. What you want to do is go and download spark effect as a PNG. I've done a few over here on this thumbnail. Since Freddy's his own layer, we can drag it underneath Freddy, so these sparks will fit much better. We can duplicate those layers. I'm gonna try to enhance the gameplay and look like Freddy's malfunctioning. I probably should have these sparks a bit more smaller. Remember guys, this whole thing is trial and error. It all depends on the type of video going for, the thumbnail. From a distance, it looks like Freddy's malfunctioning. I'm gonna actually click on this background layer and go to filter, then camera raw filter. I'm gonna change the colors a bit. I'm gonna go for a deep red. You can change it to whatever color you want. Warm red is what I really want to try go for here. I'm just going to slide it a bit to the side. You can try reversing it if you want and see how that looks. You know what guys, I think it's better if it's flipped this way. You're probably thinking, oh no, there's a gap over here. That is completely fine. What we can do is you can drag, duplicate this layer guys, and then we can move the bottom one underneath it. Alright, so we've kind of made it look like the image is more extended when it actually isn't. If you want, you can add more spark effects. I'm gonna actually add some smoke. You can add some fire effect, but I'm gonna be adding some smoke effect. You can find a PNG for smoke. It adds a lot of texture to what's going on here. I'm gonna copy this actually. Once I have my first smoke effect, what I'm gonna do guys is I'm gonna click on this and I'm gonna change the hue and saturation. I'm gonna connect it to this by holding Alt, so it only affects that layer. Put the saturation all the way up and we can change the color how we want. I'm gonna go for like this nice red over here. I'm actually gonna select both of these files and I'm gonna duplicate it underneath Freddy so we can separate him from the background a bit like that. You can always change the file type. I have it, oh yeah, also guys, I have it on linear dodge. You can change it to whatever type you want. Okay, now guys, the most important part of the 8-bit thumbnails, it is the lighting. We need the light source. Once we found the light source, we can enhance it so it looks like we are actually part of the thumbnail. We're gonna point out the light sources. We have 3 light sources here. So what does that mean? We're gonna actually go and we're gonna push this layer here to create a new fresh layer. I'm gonna select white because these are all white. Make sure my hardness is all the way down. Put my flow to 27. The flow basically acts like a built-in eraser, so it kind of doesn't do it too much force. It's not too full force. I'm gonna really highlight what's going on over here. I'm actually gonna drag this below Freddy just so we can enhance that background light. We can double click and we can add a drop shadow to Freddy if you really want to. I think that's actually pretty fine. There are also lights on his face over here, so we're gonna have to deal with those as well. Put our flow down a bit more and then just click one click there, just so the light looks like it's shining across. He's added different colored lighting. He's got the main subject big. He has another character over here, which we could possibly do. We could put another character here, but for this thumbnail, I'm probably not going to be doing that. Also guys, if you're thinking, oh, I don't have any light sources in my thing, you can do the basic thing, which is just create a new layer and then just 3 taps on the top so it looks like the light source is coming from above. The first thing you want to do guys is always duplicate your face cam layer. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Brighten up our face. It depends guys. You don't want it to be too bright. Just try and make your face light. You want to put your textures up. The main thing we need guys is grain. Not too much grain so our face looks completely weird. Below 50 is the safest option. Now what I'm going to do guys is I'm actually gonna duplicate my layer one more time. If you have the light layer, we're gonna want a dark layer now. Leave the exposure where it is, I guess. You can bring your highlights a bit down. Don't do it too much. A little down. I'm gonna go from like -20. I would go up a bit with your vibrance like that. I'm gonna put a bit more grain. I'm gonna go for 40 grain on this one. Okay, so now we got 2 separate layers here. As you can see, half of his face is darkened, and that's due to all the lighting over here. So it creates the effect that he's part of the thumbnail. He's inside the thumbnail. We click on our dark layer that is on top. I would keep the flow down, and what we're gonna want to do guys is try lighten up the areas where you think there would be good light. So you want one side of your nose to have the light, other half you want it to be dark, because you need to think about perspective. And do the same with your clothing. He does have this nice light outline. He does not use a stroke, or maybe he does. That is very simple to do. All we need to do is duplicate our bottom face, double click on it. Here we have the color overlay. You want to have it as a really light color because everything's kind of red and orangey. I'm gonna try and go for like a nice light red. Now unfortunately guys, I have a lot of long hair and my hair's kind of bushy. With 8-bit Ryan's, his hair is more smooth, so it's easy to go around. So like these parts is gonna look a bit cloudy, which is quite unfortunate. All you want to do guys is just tap it out once or twice like that. So already we've got this outline that acts like a light source behind us. Some of his videos, he has his whole arm in here. Other videos, he kinda has it faded out. I'm gonna show you the faded out version just because it's more detailed that way. We're gonna go to the rubber tool. We're gonna keep our flow at close to 10. And we're just gonna click a bit. Yes, my arm's getting lighter. That's because there's a second layer behind. We might want to just make that invisible for now. By the way, guys, our base layer we can make invisible just so we can kind of see what's going on here a bit better. And we can fade out the light layer a bit more like that. And then if you really don't like it on the side of your hair, you can fade that out too. Now comes the harsh lighting. You kind of need a lot of skill with this. I'm not too good at it, so I try to avoid doing it. On top of this layer right here, I'm gonna put a plus. It's okay if it's not perfect. As long as we try to trace around it, we can control T this and we can back it out. Okay, I think my arm is pretty good. Put your flow down. Mine's at literally 4. There you go. You can make your hair a bit lighter because of this light over here. I might grab these spark effects, paste it a bit onto myself like this. Now I want it to be very subtle. There we go. I'm gonna change this to soft light. I'm gonna go ahead and include myself with the smoke. I want to put behind me. I think soft light works for most of these. All right, guys. Now here is my secret tip. If you're thinking, oh, the image doesn't look that good, I'm trying to follow these steps. It's not looking too great. There is a cheat code, guys. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna push export as. Very simply, guys. I'm gonna locate my file, drag it right on top. So now a PNG of my thumbnail is on top. Now I do recommend either going for soft light or overlay. I'm gonna go for overlay. Now this looks way too intense, especially on my face. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on that file, you're gonna click on rubber tool, and all we're gonna do is try rub out the light parts. Just rub out the very dark areas and the very white areas. And I think that looks pretty good. There you go. Look at the difference. You could argue that the lighting on yourself isn't that good. So you could add a layer, go over yourself like that. You can change the layer style to whatever you want. I'm going to try to find an Ibadra thumbnail that looks similar to this. You can scroll through some of these and you can kind of see the resemblance. There's a lot of lighting. There's a lot of color. Look, even here. I don't even have to click on his thumbnail. You can see all the grain around his face and on the wall. And then the light source here that he's created. I used to make thumbnails like this before. I will show you some examples. I made 2 that was similar to Ibadra's. There's not that much detail in these ones, but you get the idea of the lighting coming through. But by far, I think this one's the closest to Ibadra's current style. I got these 2 thumbnails over here. Let me know what you think. Did I do it good? Well, there we have it, guys. That is how you make 8-bit thumbnails. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. If you want to know how to do CoryXKenshin thumbnails, there is a card above. Now, if you want to learn how to edit like CoryXKenshin and 8-bit, again, you can go click on the card above or go to my how-to playlist and you can see it all there. All of my packs are in the description for you to check out for yourself. And if you have any questions, guys, don't be afraid to leave it down in the comments below. Now, thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, guys.